Luxury brand Tycoon abandoned his infertile wife. 5 years later, he spotted her with twins. Alexander Sterling stands at the altar, tall, immaculate in a bespoke charcoal tuxedo, his jaw set like marble. His eyes, cold, calculating, unreadable, scan the crowd with practiced detachment. He doesn't look at the doors. Not yet. He doesn't need to. He already knows she'll come. She always does. Isabella Moreau, daughter of professors, fluent in 3 languages, collector of quiet sunsets and dog-eared poetry books. She's walking down the aisle now, and you, yes, you, feel your breath catch as if it's your own heart pounding in your chest. She's radiant, not in the glittering, diamond-dripping way society expects, but in the way moonlight touches water, soft, trembling, alive. Her ivory gown hugs her frame like a secret, lace trailing behind her like whispered promises. Her hands clutch the bouquet, white lilies her favorite, so tightly her knuckles are pale. She doesn't cry, not yet, but you can feel the tremor in her fingers, the way her pulse flutters at her throat like a trapped bird. You hear the murmur ripple through the pews. She's lovely, lucky girl. He could have chosen anyone. Why her? And then silence, because Alexander turns. And when his eyes meet hers, something inside you shatters. There's no warmth, no longing, no love, just assessment, like he's inspecting a painting before purchase. A vase, a vintage car, something beautiful, yes, but ultimately an asset. She reaches him. The priest begins to speak, but you don't hear the words. You're too busy feeling what she feels. The dizzying cocktail of hope and dread swirling in her chest. She glances up at him just once, searching, hoping for a flicker, a sign, a whisper of the man who once held her hand under starlit skies and told her, voice thick with uncharacteristic vulnerability, "You're the only real thing in my life, Isabella." But that man is gone. Or perhaps he was never real. The vows come. His are crisp, rehearsed, flawless. I, Alexander Sterling, take you, Isabella Moreau, to be my lawfully wedded wife. No stumble, no tremor, no emotion, just syllables arranged for public consumption. Hers are softer, slower, as if each word costs her something. I, Isabella, take you, Alexander. Her voice wavers on his name, just slightly, but you hear it, you feel it, like a crack in porcelain. To have and to hold, from this day forward. She doesn't say for better or worse, not out loud, but you hear it anyway, the silent plea echoing in the hollows of her ribs. Please, let there be better, let there be love, let me be enough. The rings are exchanged, cold platinum circles that feel heavier than iron on her finger. When he leans in to kiss her, his lips brush hers like a formality, a signature at the bottom of a contract. No pressure, no warmth, no promise. Applause erupts, champagne flutes clink, cameras flash, smiles are manufactured. And you stand there, heart in your throat, wanting to scream. She loves you. Can't you see it? Can't you feel it? But he doesn't. He can't. Or maybe he won't. At the reception, you follow her through the glittering maze of crystal chandeliers and silver platters. She moves like a ghost among royalty, smiling politely, nodding, accepting compliments with grace that breaks your heart. You watch as Alexander is pulled away by investors, by board members, by his mother. A woman with eyes like ice picks and a voice that cuts glass. Darling, his mother purrs, gripping Isabella's arm just a little too tight. You do understand what's expected, don't you? An heir. Soon. The Sterling name doesn't wait. Isabella's smile doesn't falter. Of course, Mrs. Sterling. But you see it, the way her shoulders tense, the way her fingers curl into her palm, the way her gaze flickers toward Alexander, standing across the room, laughing at something a blonde socialite whispered in his ear. Later, when the music swells and the guests dance, you find her alone on the terrace. The city glitters below like scattered diamonds. She leans against the railing, eyes closed, letting the night air kiss her tear-streaked cheeks. You want to hold her, to tell her to run, to scream that she deserves more than this gilded cage. But then footsteps. Alexander. He doesn't touch her, doesn't apologize, doesn't even look at her. "Don't expect this to be a fairy tale," he says, voice low, almost bored. "We both knew what this was." She doesn't turn, doesn't cry, just whispers, so softly you almost miss it. "I knew what it was for you. I just hoped. Maybe it could be something more for me." He doesn't answer. He walks away. And you stand there, fists clenched, heart screaming, feeling every ounce of her loneliness as if it's your own. Because this isn't just a wedding. It's the first page of a tragedy. And you're not just watching, you're living it. You feel the silk of her dress against your skin, the chill of the night air on your neck, the weight of the ring, cold, heavy, meaningless, pressing into your finger. You taste the salt of her unshed tears. You hear the echo of his footsteps fading down the marble hall. You smell the roses wilting in their vase. You are her, and you know deep in your bones that this man, this tycoon, this king of luxury will break her. But you also know something else, something fiercer, something wilder. She will survive. And one day, 5 years from now perhaps, he will see her again. And she won't be broken. She'll be holding twins. And he'll be the one on his knees. The night ends. The guests leave. The mansion empties. Isabella stands in the center of their new penthouse, surrounded by boxes, by silence, by the deafening echo of what should have been love. She takes off the ring, places it on the marble counter, stares at it, then walks to the window. The city pulses below, alive, indifferent, beautiful. She whispers to no one, to be loved or to be useful. I thought for a moment I could be both. She turns away. The ring stays, and so does she, for now. You feel it. The quiet resolve settling in her chest like embers before a storm. This isn't surrender. It's strategy. It's survival. It's the beginning of a war she doesn't yet know she'll win. And you're still here, breathing with her, bleeding with her, waiting, because 5 years is a long time. And twins change everything. You close your eyes, and you wait, just like she does. But you both know the real story hasn't even begun. It's coming, and when it does, it will break him and heal her. And you'll be there, every step, every tear, every heartbeat, because this isn't just her story. It's yours now, too, and it's only chapter 1. Word count, 5,998 characters. Okay, now act as a narrator and storyteller. Develop the story without markings with the name of each topic that is developed. Tell me about topic 2 with dialogue as if I were the viewer, always remembering to develop with a lot of emotion, with a lot of feelings so that the structure of the narrative uses a linear timeline so that the viewer feels what the character is feeling in English with 6,000 characters. Quen 3 Max, preview. The clinic smelled like antiseptic and false hope. You feel it the moment you walk in, that sterile, suffocating quiet that wraps around your lungs like plastic wrap. Fluorescent lights hum overhead, too bright, too white, bleaching the color from everything. From the walls, from the faces, from Isabella's knuckles as she grips the armrests of the chair. Her wedding ring glinting under the glare like a cruel joke. She's alone. Alexander didn't come. He sent a text. Board meeting. Dr. Lang will update you. Send me the results. 3 lines. No, I love you. No, I'm here for you. Not even a good luck. Just business. Just duty. Just silence. You sit beside her. Not in the room, not in the flesh, but in her skin. You feel the tremor in her thighs, the dryness in her throat, the way her breath hitches every time the door creaks open. You taste the bitterness of the coffee she drank this morning. Black, no sugar, trying to steady herself. It didn't work. Dr. Lang enters, mid-50s, kind eyes, soft voice. You know before she speaks. You feel it in the way the air thickens, in the way the doctor's smile doesn't reach her eyes. Isabella? The name hangs there, suspended like a guillotine. You brace. Isabella doesn't. She leans forward. Hope still flickers in her chest. Stubborn, foolish, beautiful. Yes, she whispers. Dr. Lang sits, places a folder on the desk. Doesn't open it. Not yet. We've reviewed all your tests. Hormonal panels, ultrasounds, hysterosalpingograms, everything. Isabella nods, swallows, and the doctor exhales. Quietly, gently, like she's handling glass. There's no easy way to say this, Isabella. Your uterus, it's incapable of carrying a pregnancy to term. The scarring from the endometriosis is too severe. Even with IVF, the chances are less than 2%. And those odds, they come with significant risk to your health. Silence, not the quiet kind, the kind that swallows sound, that eats time, that turns seconds into lifetimes. You feel Isabella's heart stop, then stutter, then slam against her ribs like a trapped thing. Her fingers curl into the fabric of her dress. Her lips part, no sound comes out. Her eyes, wide, wet, disbelieving, lock onto the doctor's. There must be a mistake, she breathes. I'm only 29. I ovulate normally. I track everything. Isabella? Dr. Lang interrupts softly, reaching across the desk to cover her hand. I wish there were, but the tests are conclusive. You're what we clinically refer to as infertile. Infertile. The word doesn't just land. It detonates. Inside her chest. Inside your chest. You feel it rip through her. A bomb wrapped in syllables. Infertile. A diagnosis. A death sentence. A label that erases her womanhood in the eyes of the world she married into. She doesn't cry. Not yet. She stares at the wall. At the framed medical degree. At the potted plant wilting in the corner. She thinks of Alexander's mother's voice. An heir. Soon. She thinks of his cold kiss on their wedding day. She thinks of the way he looked at her last night. Not with desire, not with affection, but with calculation. And now she's broken. Now she's useless. Now she's less. Her phone buzzes on the chair beside her. You see the screen light up. Alexander. Results? No, how are you? No, are you okay? Just results? Like she's a lab report. Like she's data. Like she's nothing. She picks up the phone. Her fingers shake so badly she almost drops it. You want to scream. Don't answer. Don't give him this. Don't let him turn your pain into a footnote. But she does. She types with trembling thumbs. Infertile. Less than 2% chance even with IVF. High risk. Send. 3 dots appear immediately. He's typing. Fast. Understood. I'll handle it. That's it. No, I'm sorry. No, we'll get through this. No, I love you. Just, I'll handle it. Like she's a problem to be managed. Like she's a defective product. Like she's already being erased. She stands. Numb. Hollow. The doctor says something, offers resources, support groups, second opinions, but Isabella doesn't hear. She walks out, down the hall, past the pregnant women cradling their bellies, past the couples holding hands, whispering baby names. Each step feels like glass in her shoes. You feel it too. The shame, the grief, the crushing weight of being unworthy. She gets into her car, doesn't start it, just sits, stares at the steering wheel, at her ring, at the dashboard clock ticking away seconds she'll never get back. And then the tears come, not gentle, not quiet, they explode, great, heaving sobs that tear from her throat like broken glass. She slams her fists against the wheel, once, twice, screams into the silence. Raw, ragged, animal. Why? She shrieks, voice cracking. Why me? I did everything right. I loved him. I tried. I wanted to give him everything. You feel every sob, every gasp, every shattered piece of her soul scattering across the leather seats. She pulls off the ring, stares at it, the symbol of a promise that never existed. She hurls it at the windshield. It bounces off, lands in the passenger seat. She doesn't pick it up. She starts the car, drives, not home, not to him, nowhere, just away. Hours later, She parks by the river. The sun is setting, painting the water gold and crimson. Beautiful, cruel, indifferent. She walks to the edge, stands there, wind tugging at her hair, tears drying on her cheeks. She pulls out her phone again, types, deletes, types again. Alexander, I'm at the river. I need you. Please. Send. You hold your breath. 3 dots. I'm in Tokyo. Back Friday. We'll talk then. That's it. No, are you safe? No, I'm coming. No, wait for me. Just, we'll talk then. Like her breaking heart is a meeting to be scheduled. She drops the phone into her purse, stares at the water. You feel the pull, the dark, seductive whisper of the current. Jump, just let go. He doesn't want you. They don't need you. You're nothing. But then a laugh. Hi, bright, unburdened. You turn. A little girl, no older than 5, runs past, chasing a yellow balloon. Her mother follows, calling after her, laughing. The girl trips, falls, scrapes her knee, starts to cry. The mother scoops her up, kisses the scrape, whispers something. The girl sniffles, then giggles. Isabella watches. You watch with her, and something shifts. Not healing, not yet, but recognition. That's what I wanted to be. A mother, not a trophy, not an asset. A mother. She walks back to the car, picks up the ring, slips it back on. Not for him, for herself. A reminder. She is still here, still standing, still breathing. And maybe, just maybe, she can still be a mother. Somehow, someday. Even if not the way the world expects. That night, she doesn't go home. She books a hotel, orders room service she doesn't eat, sits by the window, stares at the city lights. Her phone buzzes again. Alexander, make an appointment with Dr. Vance. He specializes in surrogacy. We'll use your eggs if viable. If not, we'll find a donor. The sterling name must continue. You feel the ice flood her veins. No, how are you feeling? No, do you want this? No, is this what you want? Just logistics, just legacy, just erasure. She types back. I'm tired, Alexander. I need sleep. He doesn't reply. She turns off the phone, lies down, stares at the ceiling. You lie there with her, feeling the emptiness, the betrayal, the quiet, gathering storm, because something broke today. Not just her body, her heart, her hope, her belief that love could be enough. And in its place, something harder, something fiercer, something that doesn't yet have a name. But it's coming, it's growing, and 5 years from now, it'll be holding twins. And he won't recognize the woman he discarded, because she won't be broken. She'll be reborn. You close your eyes, feel her breath slow, feel her tears dry, feel her resolve harden. This isn't the end. It's the catalyst. The moment the girl died, and the woman began to rise. Word count, 5,997 characters. Okay, now act as a narrator and storyteller. Develop the story without markings with the name of each topic that is developed. Tell me about topic 3 with dialogue as if I were the viewer, always remembering to develop with a lot of emotion, with a lot of feelings so that the structure of the narrative uses a linear timeline so that the viewer feels what the character is feeling in English with 6,000 characters. Quen 3 Max. Preview. The morning sun spills through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the penthouse like liquid gold. Too bright, too cheerful, too cruel. You feel it on your skin, warm and mocking, as Isabella stands barefoot in the center of the marble foyer, still in her silk robe, still clutching the coffee mug she hasn't sipped from. Her hair is loose, her eyes are hollow. 3 weeks have passed since the clinic. 3 weeks of silence. 3 weeks of sleeping in separate beds. 3 weeks of Alexander coming home late, smelling of whiskey and other women's perfume, never once asking how she slept. You feel her heartbeat, slow, heavy, resigned, as the elevator dings. He's here. Alexander Sterling steps out in a charcoal suit that costs more than most people's rent. Tie perfectly knotted, cufflinks glinting like tiny blades. He doesn't look at her. Not at first. He walks past her like she's furniture. A vase, a painting, something decorative but ultimately replaceable. He sets his briefcase down, loosens his tie, pours himself a glass of water, all without a word. You want to scream, you want to shake him, you want to make him see her, but he doesn't. He turns, finally, and when his eyes meet hers, there's no anger, no sadness, no guilt, just efficiency. "We need to talk," he says. His voice is calm, controlled, like he's discussing quarterly earnings. She doesn't move, doesn't speak, just waits. You feel the tremor in her knees, the dryness in her throat, the way her fingers tighten around the mug. Not for comfort, but to keep them from shaking. He pulls a manila envelope from his briefcase, places it on the glass coffee table, slides it toward her. "Divorce papers," he says simply. Not, "I'm sorry." Not, "This hurts me too." Not even, "Isabella, we need to figure this out." Just, divorce papers. Like she's a contract he's decided to terminate. She stares at the envelope, doesn't touch it. Her voice, when it comes, is barely a whisper. "You're divorcing me?" He exhales, not impatiently, not cruelly, just practically. It's the logical step. You can't give me an heir. The board expects continuity. My mother expects continuity. The world expects continuity. You feel the words like slaps, each one colder than the last. She looks up, eyes glistening, but no tears fall. "Not yet." "And what about what I expect, Alexander? What about what we promised?" He doesn't flinch. Promises change when circumstances do. "You knew what this marriage was." "No," she breathes, stepping forward. "I knew what you told me it was. You said that night on the balcony, you said I was the only real thing in your life, that I mattered more than the money, more than the name, more than the empire." He looks at her then, really looks, and for half a second, just half, you see it. The flicker, the ghost of the man who once kissed her forehead and whispered poetry into her hair. It's gone before it fully forms. "I was emotional," he says flatly. "I was young. I didn't understand what was at stake." She laughs, a broken, brittle sound. "So now you understand? Now I'm just defective merchandise? Return to sender." He doesn't answer. He doesn't have to. His silence is the verdict. She picks up the envelope, doesn't open it, just holds it, like it's a bomb. "There's a generous settlement," he says. "Enough to live comfortably anywhere in the world. A villa in Tuscany, a loft in Paris, whatever you want." She looks at him, really looks, sees the sharp angles of his jaw, the cold precision in his gaze, the way his hands, the hands that once traced her spine like sacred scripture, now rest at his sides like weapons at ease. "I don't want your money, Alexander." "Take it," he says, voice hardening. "It's the least I can do." "The least?" Her voice cracks. "The least? You're throwing me away like yesterday's headline and calling it generosity." He steps closer, not to comfort, to dominate. "Don't make this dramatic, Isabella. It's business. You knew the terms." "I knew you," she shouts, the dam finally breaking. Tears spill over, hot and furious. "I loved you. I gave you everything. My body, my heart, my dignity. And you're tossing me out because my womb doesn't work." He doesn't blink. Biology is biology. Sentiment doesn't change science. You feel her shatter, piece by piece, dream by dream. She throws the envelope at his chest. It bounces off, papers spilling onto the floor. "I won't sign it." He doesn't bend to pick them up. "I'll have my lawyers send a revised version. You'll sign it, one way or another." She stares at him, at the man she married, at the stranger standing in her home. "Why are you doing this? Is it really just about an heir? Or is it because I make you feel something you can't control? Because I see you? Because I know the boy who cried when his dog died is still in there somewhere." His jaw tightens. A muscle ticks near his temple. "That boy is dead," he says quietly. "He had to be." She steps back, nods, once, slowly. "Then bury him properly. Because the man standing in front of me, he's already a ghost." She turns, walks toward the bedroom. You follow, in her skin, in her soul, in her suffocating grief. He calls after her. You have 2 weeks to vacate the premises. The staff will pack your things. Keep what you want. Leave the rest. She doesn't turn around. What about my books? My paintings? The quilt my grandmother made me? Take them, he says. I don't want reminders. She stops at the bedroom door, doesn't look back. Funny, she whispers. I was just thinking the same thing. The next 2 weeks are a blur of boxes, silence, and suffocating finality. You feel every moment. The maids packing her clothes without meeting her eyes. The movers carrying out her grandmother's rocking chair. The way Alexander never comes home. The night she sits on the floor of the empty walk-in closet, now stripped of her dresses, her shoes, her scent, and sobs until her ribs ache. You hold her. You cry with her. You feel the humiliation when society pages leak the news. Sterling heir parts ways with infertile wife, new chapter for luxury empire. You feel the sting when her so-called friends stop calling. You feel the hollowness when she stands in front of the mirror on the last day, wearing jeans and a sweater, no diamonds, no designer labels, and doesn't recognize the woman staring back. She slips off the wedding ring, leaves it on the marble counter, where he'll find it, where he'll know. She walks out without looking back. The doorman holds the door open. Goodbye, Mrs. Sterling. She doesn't correct him. She gets into the taxi, gives the driver an address downtown, a small apartment she rented under her maiden name. As the car pulls away, she looks up, just once, at the penthouse window. He's there, watching, hands in his pockets, face unreadable. You want her to wave, to scream, to cry, to throw something. She does none of those things. She simply turns away and whispers, so softly only you can hear, I was never yours to discard. The apartment is small, white walls, one window, a fire escape that creaks in the wind. No staff, no champagne, no gilded cages. She sits on the floor, surrounded by boxes, alone, for the first time in years, free. You feel it, the terrifying, exhilarating weight of starting over. She opens her laptop, books a one-way ticket to the coast, sells her jewelry online, except for her mother's locket, changes her phone number, deletes her social media, and then she lies down on the bare mattress, stares at the ceiling, and for the first time since the clinic, she breathes, deeply, fully, without him, without expectation, without shame. You lie there with her, feeling the grief, feeling the rage, feeling the quiet, gathering strength. Because this isn't the end. It's the beginning. And 5 years from now, she'll be laughing on a sunlit pier, twins clinging to her hands. And he'll be the one begging for forgiveness, begging for a second chance, begging to be seen. But she won't be broken. She'll be whole. And you'll still be here, breathing with her. The ticket in her pocket reads, Seabrook Cove. One way, no return date, no plan, just away. The coastal town isn't on any luxury map. No 5-star resorts, no paparazzi, no Sterling name echoing in boardrooms or gossip columns. Just salt-kissed air, peeling paint on clapboard houses, fishermen mending nets at dawn, and the endless sigh of the ocean, patient, wild, forgiving. She steps off the train into a world that doesn't know her. And for the first time in years, that's a mercy. The apartment she rents is above a bookstore. Tiny, creaky floorboards, a kitchenette with a stove that takes 3 tries to light, a window that overlooks the harbor, where gulls scream and boats bob like toys in a bathtub. The landlord, Mrs. Delaney, silver curls, thick glasses, the scent of lavender and pipe smoke clinging to her cardigan, eyes her with gentle suspicion. No references, dear? Isabella, no. Izzy now smiles faintly. Just need a quiet place. I'll pay in advance. Mrs. Delaney studies her face, the shadows under her eyes, the way she holds herself like she's bracing for impact, and nods. Quiet's what we've got. And pie on Sundays. That first night, Izzy sits on the floor, back against the bed frame, eating cold canned soup straight from the tin. No silverware, no plate, just her, the hum of the mini fridge, and the distant crash of waves. You feel the exhaustion in her bones, the emptiness in her chest, the terrifying freedom of being no one. She opens her laptop, types one sentence into a blank document. I am not broken. I am becoming. She stares at it, then deletes it. Too soon. She's not becoming yet. She's surviving. Morning comes with seagull cries and golden light spilling across the wooden floor. She walks barefoot to the window, watches the fishermen unload their catch, smells coffee brewing downstairs, hears laughter from the street, real, unguarded, unpolished laughter. She showers, dresses in faded jeans and a sweater 2 sizes too big, leaves her hair loose, doesn't put on makeup, doesn't look in the mirror. She walks past the bakery where the scent of cinnamon rolls curls through the air like an invitation, past the tiny gallery where watercolor seascapes hang crookedly, priced in handwritten notes, past the community center with a flyer, volunteers needed children's art hour. She stops, stares, her fingers twitch. She hasn't painted in years. Not since Alexander told her, with a smirk, that hobbies are for people who don't run empires. She walks in, the woman behind the desk, paint-splattered smock, wild curls, warm brown eyes, looks up. Help you? I saw the flyer. For volunteers. The woman grins. Bless you. We're drowning in glitter and toddlers. You any good with kids? Izzy hesitates. I don't know, but I love art. Then you'll fit right in. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 3 to 5. Be here. Wear clothes you don't mind ruining. She nods, doesn't say her name, doesn't ask for pay, just turns and walks out. You feel the flutter in her chest. Not joy, not yet, but possibility. The first day with the children is chaos. Glitter in her hair, finger paint on her jeans. A little boy with sticky hands tugging at her sleeve, demanding she help him draw a dragon. A girl with pigtails crying because her clay sculpture collapsed. Izzy kneels, wipes the girl's tears with her thumb. Let's build it again. Stronger this time. The girl sniffles, nods. They rebuild. Together. You feel it. The warmth in Izzy's palms as she shapes the clay. The softness in her voice as she tells the boy the dragon needs wings to fly away from boring grown-ups. The way her shoulders loosen, just a fraction, as the children laugh, unburdened, unjudged. Afterward, the art teacher Mara hands her a mug of tea. You're a natural. Izzy stares into the steam. I used to think I couldn't be a mother. Mara doesn't flinch, doesn't offer empty comfort, just says, motherhood ain't about biology, honey. It's about showing up. Izzy's throat tightens. She doesn't cry, but you do. Weeks pass. She starts restoring furniture in the back room of the antique shop down the pier. Old dressers, rocking chairs, bookshelves with broken spines. She sands, she stains, she mends. With each piece you feel her healing. Not all at once, not magically, but slowly, grain by grain, like wood absorbing oil. The shop owner, Elias, grizzled, missing 2 fingers, voice like gravel, watches her work. One day he grunts, you got good hands, steady, patient. She doesn't look up. I had to learn. He nods. Pain's the hell of a teacher. She doesn't answer, but she doesn't flinch. She paints again, late at night on the fire escape with cheap watercolors and a sketch pad from the dollar store. Seascapes, storms, sunrises, women with their backs to the viewer walking away from cities toward horizons. She doesn't sign them, doesn't show them, just creates. You feel the release in every brushstroke, the quiet rebellion, the reclamation. One evening, as she walks home from the shop, she passes the old orphanage on Willow Street. Its sign faded, its windows boarded, its steps sagging under the weight of neglect. A for sale sign leans crookedly in the overgrown grass. She stops, stares. Something tugs in her chest. Not pity, not guilt, recognition. She was abandoned too, not in body, in soul. She walks up the steps, pushes open the creaking gate, stands in the overgrown courtyard, closes her eyes, and hears laughter, children's laughter, echoing through broken windows, waiting to be real again. She doesn't know why, but she knows deep in her marrow this place matters. She pulls out her phone, takes a picture of the sign, sends it to herself. With one word, someday. Winter comes. The town huddles under woolen scarves and chimney smoke. Izzy teaches art to bundled-up kids, restores a Victorian writing desk that Elias sells for triple what he paid, paints a mural on the side of the bakery, mermaids and whales and children holding hands beneath the waves. The townspeople start to smile at her, not because she's Sterling's ex, but because she's Izzy, the quiet woman who fixes broken things, who listens, who shows up. You feel the change in her, subtle, seismic. The way she sleeps through the night now, the way she hums while she sands wood, the way she lets herself cry when a song reminds her of her mother. Not because she's broken, but because she's learning to feel again. One night, curled under a quilt by the window, she opens her laptop, types, 5 years ago, I was told I was worthless because I couldn't carry a child. Today, I held 3 of them as they painted stars on my sweater. They didn't care about my womb. They cared that I laughed at their jokes, that I didn't scold them for messes, that I stayed. I am not what they said I was. I am what I choose to become. She saves it, doesn't send it, doesn't delete it, just keeps it, like a promise. Spring arrives with cherry blossoms and salt-scented breezes. Izzy walks past the orphanage again. The for sale sign is gone. In its place, a new one, under new management. Reopening fall 2025. Her breath catches. She doesn't know why, but you do. You feel it, the quiet pull of fate, the gathering storm, the pieces moving into place. Because 5 years have almost passed. And soon, very soon, he will see her, not as the broken wife he discarded, but as the woman standing tall on a sunlit pier, with twins, laughing, alive, whole. And you'll be right there, feeling every heartbeat, every step. Leo and Lila, 4 years old, twins, wild-haired, gap-toothed, uncontainable. You feel the warmth of their small fingers curled in hers, the sticky residue of ice cream on Leo's chin, the way Lila skips instead of walks, tugging Izzy's arm with every hop. Mama, look, the big boat. Can we go on it? Please. Izzy laughs. A sound so rich, so unguarded, so utterly free, it startles even you. Not today, lovebug. That's a fishing trawler. Smells like old socks and squid. Leo wrinkles his nose. You. Then let's get more ice cream. She ruffles his hair. You're a bottomless pit, you know that? He grins, unashamed. And you feel it all. The sun on your skin, the salt on your lips, the swell of pride in Izzy's chest as she watches them, her children, spin in circles until they collapse in a giggling heap on the weathered planks. You feel the quiet awe that still lives inside her, even after 4 years. I did this. I chose this. I built this. She doesn't know he's here. Not yet. Alexander Sterling stands 20 feet away, half hidden in the shadow of the bait shop's awning, frozen like a man who's just seen a ghost, or worse, a miracle he doesn't deserve. You feel his breath catch. You feel his pulse stutter. You feel the world tilt beneath his polished leather shoes. He's thinner, tired. His suit, Armani, charcoal immaculate, looks out of place here, like a diamond dropped in mud. His hair is shorter. His jaw is clenched. His eyes, those cold, calculating eyes, are wide, shattered. He didn't come for her. He came for space, for silence. His board forced him to reassess his leadership energy. Translation, you're burning out. Go disappear for a week before you implode. So he chose Seabrook Cove. Quiet, remote, anonymous. Or so he thought. He never expected this. Her, laughing, radiant, holding twins. His brain short-circuits. Impossible. She's infertile. Clinically, medically confirmed. He saw the papers. He steps forward, one shaky step, and his shoe crunches on a discarded ice cream cone wrapper. The sound is nothing, a whisper, but Izzy's head snaps up. Her eyes lock onto his, and time stops. You feel it, the electric crackle in the air, the way the gulls go silent, the way the children's laughter fades into the background like a distant radio, the way her fingers tighten just slightly around Leo and Lila's hands. She doesn't gasp, doesn't flinch, doesn't run. She just sees him, and in that single, suspended second, you feel everything she feels. The old wound tearing open, yes, but beneath it, something fiercer. I am not afraid of you anymore. Alexander opens his mouth. Nothing comes out. Leo tugs Izzy's hand. Mama? Who's that man? He's staring. Lila squints. He looks sad and fancy, like a prince who lost his castle. Izzy doesn't look away from Alexander. Her voice, when it comes, is calm, steady, unbroken. He's no one's sweetheart, just someone from a story that ended a long time ago. Alexander flinches like he's been slapped. No one. The words echo in his skull. He takes another step forward. Isabella? She cuts him off. Not with anger, with quiet finality. My name is Izzy now. He swallows, hard. His gaze drops to the children, to their bright eyes, their messy hair, the way they press close to her legs, sensing tension. These are your children? She doesn't answer right away, lets the question hang, lets him sweat, lets him drown in the impossibility of it. Yes, she says finally, softly. They are. He stares, at Leo's dimple, at Lila's freckles, at the way they look up at Izzy with absolute, unwavering trust. How? The word is a ragged whisper. The doctor said, the doctors, she interrupts, voice sharpening just a fraction, said I couldn't carry a child. They never said I couldn't be a mother. His eyes dart between the twins, searching, calculating, looking for what? His own features? Proof of betrayal? A loophole in biology? You feel the ugly suspicion curling in his chest. Who's the father? When did she leave me? Was she lying? Izzy sees it. Of course she does. She smiles. Not a kind smile, a knowing one. They're adopted, Alexander. From the Willow Street home. Their mother was 17. Couldn't keep them. No one wanted twins. Too much work. She crouches down, pulling Leo and Lila close. I wanted them. All of them. Every tantrum. Every sticky hand. Every 3 a.m. nightmare. Every mama. Look what I drew. Leo beams up at her. I drew a dragon with laser eyes. Lila nods solemnly. And I drew Mama as a superhero, because she is. Izzy kisses the tops of their heads. Doesn't look at Alexander. Doesn't need to. He's crumbling. You feel it. The foundation of his arrogance cracking beneath the weight of her quiet, undeniable truth. He came here to escape. He found a reckoning. He takes another step. Too close. Izzy, she stands. Smooth, unhurried. Places herself slightly in front of the children. A shield. A wall. A queen protecting her kingdom. Don't, she says. One word. Quiet. Final. Don't say anything. Don't ask anything. Don't be anything here. This, she gestures to Leo and Lila, to the pier, to the sun-drenched, imperfect, beautiful life she's built, isn't yours. It never was. It never will be. He opens his mouth, closes it. His hands, those hands that once signed divorce papers without blinking, are trembling at his sides. Lila tugs Izzy's shirt. Mama, can we go see the crabs now? Please. Izzy's face softens instantly. The warrior fades. The mother remains. Of course, love. Let's go. She turns, takes Leo's hand in one, Lila's in the other, starts walking away, toward the tide pools, toward laughter, toward life. Alexander doesn't move, can't move, watches her go, the sway of her hips, the sun catching the gold in her hair, the way the children chatter excitedly, already forgetting the sad fancy man. You feel his heart hammering against his ribs, not with anger, with something worse, loss, regret, the dawning, horrifying realization that he threw away something priceless. He takes a stumbling step after her. Izzy! She doesn't turn, doesn't stop, just raises one hand, not in farewell, in warning, and keeps walking. Leo glances back, waves cheerfully. Bye, sad prince. Lila blows a kiss. Hope you find your castle. Alexander stands there, alone. The salt air stings his eyes. Or maybe it's tears. He doesn't know anymore, doesn't care. You feel the world closing in around him. The laughter, the gulls, the crash of waves. All of it mocking him, reminding him, she's happy, she's whole, she's a mother. And you're nothing to her. He sinks onto a nearby bench, runs shaking hands through his hair, pulls out his phone, types a message to his assistant with numb fingers. Cancel all meetings for the week. I'm staying in Seabrook. He doesn't know why. He doesn't understand yet. But you do. You feel the obsession taking root. The need to know, to understand, to be near her, to see those children, to hear her laugh again, even if it's not for him. He looks up. She's gone, vanished into the crowd. But he'll find her. He has to, because something inside him, something cold, dead, buried for years, just woke up. And it's screaming. You stay with him, feeling the chill of the bench beneath him, feeling the hollow ache in his chest, feeling the first terrifying flicker of hope. Not for reconciliation, not yet, but for something. Redemption, absolution, a second chance? He doesn't know. But you know this, the game has changed. He needs to know, not just how, but everything. By dawn, he's on the phone. Victor? It's Sterling. I need you in Seabrook Cove. Today. Discreet. Full background. On Isabella Moreau. And 2 children, twins. Leo and Lila. Approximately 4 years old. Find me their birth records. Adoption papers. Medical history. School. Everything. His voice is steady. Professional. Cold. But you feel the tremor beneath it. The frantic, clawing need to understand. To prove this is a lie, a setup, a cruel joke. Infertile women don't just become mothers of twins. Not like this, not so perfectly. Victor doesn't ask questions. He never does. Understood, Mr. Sterling. I'll be there by noon. The next 3 days are a blur of surveillance and silence. You feel Alexander's restless energy. Pacing the inn's balcony, binoculars trained on the pier, on the bookstore apartment window, on the community center where Izzy teaches art. He watches her like a ghost haunting his own life. Sees her carry groceries, laughing with Mrs. Delaney. Sees her kneel in the sand with Leo and Lila, building a lopsided castle. Sees her paint a mural on the side of the bakery. A mermaid holding 2 children, their faces unmistakably Leo and Lila's. He doesn't approach. Doesn't speak, just watches, and waits. Victor delivers the first report on day 2. Alexander locks himself in the suite, spreads papers across the bed. Birth certificates, hospital discharge summaries, adoption agency records from the now-closed Willow Street home, photographs of a scared, too young mother signing away her rights, social worker notes, twins, healthy, bonded, seeking stable, loving home, preference for joint placement, and then the document that makes his hands shake. Adoption finalization. Isabella Izzy Moreau, sole legal guardian. Date: October 17th, 4 years ago. No co-applicant, no biological relation. He reads it 3 times. No biological relation, no co-applicant. She did this alone. He slumps back against the headboard, stares at the ceiling. The facts are undeniable, clinical, boring even, and yet, they feel like a punch to the gut. She didn't cheat. She didn't lie. She didn't use science or surrogates or secret donors. She walked into a broken orphanage and chose 2 broken children and made them whole. Alone, while he was signing contracts, while he was closing deals, while he was telling himself he'd done her a favor by letting her go. He picks up a photograph Victor included. Izzy, 2 years ago, kneeling in the orphanage's overgrown courtyard, planting flowers with Leo and Lila. Her smile is tired. Her jeans are muddy. Her hair is escaping its braid. She looks real, alive, more beautiful than he ever remembered her in ball gowns and diamonds. He touches the photo. His thumb brushes her cheek. "Why didn't you tell me?" He whispers to the empty room. "Why didn't you fight?" But he knows the answer. He made her silent. He made her leave. He made her believe she was worthless. And she proved him wrong. On day 4, Victor brings him coffee and a new file. "This is different, sir." Alexander doesn't look up. "Just give it to me." Victor hesitates. "It's not about the adoption. It's about her. After she left you." Alexander finally looks up. "Go on." Victor slides a single sheet across the desk. It's a bank statement from a small regional credit union, dated 6 months after the divorce. Alexander scans it, frowns. "What am I looking at?" "A withdrawal. Large. One time. Transferred to a contractor." Alexander flips the page. Sees the contractor's name. Sees the project description. "Renovation and structural repair, Willow Street Orphanage." His breath catches. Victor continues, voice low. "She bought it, sir. With the settlement money. Every penny. Hired local builders. Did half the painting herself. Reopened it last fall. It's called the Seabrook Haven now. Houses 12 children. She's on the board. Volunteers 3 days a week." Alexander stares at the paper, at the numbers, at the dates. She didn't buy a villa in Tuscany. She didn't flee to Paris. She took the money he threw at her like a consolation prize and built a home for children no one else wanted, including hers. Including hers. He stands abruptly, walks to the window, looks out at the town, the pier, the bookstore, the distant roof of the orphanage, now painted a cheerful yellow. "She's running an orphanage?" His voice is hoarse. "Not running it, sir. Saving it. And the children in it." Alexander turns. His eyes are red-rimmed, haunted. Did she ever try to contact me? After? About the twins? About anything? Victor shakes his head. No record of any attempt. Phone, email, letter. Nothing. She changed her number. Deleted her socials. Legally changed her name back to Moreau. Dropped Sterling entirely. She didn't just leave you, sir. She erased you. Alexander flinches. Hard. He walks back to the desk. Picks up the photo of Izzy in the courtyard. Stares at it. At her muddy knees. At Leo's tiny hand clutching a trowel. At Lila's face, smudged with dirt, beaming up at her mother. He thinks of his penthouse. Cold. Silent. Perfect. Empty. He thinks of his boardroom. All glass and steel and hollow victories. He thinks of his mother's voice. Legacy is blood, Alexander. Blood and name. He looks at the photo again. She built a legacy with dirt and paint and love. With children who aren't hers by blood. And she's happier than I've ever seen her. He drops the photo. Runs his hands over his face. His voice, when it comes, is broken. "I was wrong." Victor doesn't respond. Just waits. Alexander looks up, eyes blazing with a terrifying mix of awe and despair. I thought infertility made her less broken, unworthy. But she chose motherhood anyway. Not because she could carry life, but because she could give it. She gave it to them. She gave them her. He grabs his coat. I need to see the orphanage. Now. The Seabrook Haven is bright, warm, smelling of baking cookies and crayons. Children's artwork covers the walls. Laughter echoes down the halls. Alexander stands in the doorway, feeling like an intruder in a sacred space. A young woman at the front desk looks up. Can I help you? He clears his throat. I'm looking for Isabella Moreau. Izzy. The woman's smile fades slightly. She recognizes him, or at least recognizes the Sterling name. She's not here today. She's at the community center. Art class. He nods, doesn't leave. His eyes scan the room. The new windows, the sturdy bookshelves, the colorful rug. He sees a framed photo on the wall. Izzy, cutting a ribbon at the reopening. Leo and Lila flanking her, holding giant scissors. Her smile is radiant, proud. He steps closer, reads the plaque beneath it. The Seabrook Haven, where every child finds home. Founded with love by Izzy Moreau. He reaches out, touches the glass over her face. Why? He whispers. Why didn't you let me see this? Why didn't you let me be part of this? A small voice pipes up behind him. Mister. He turns. A little boy, no older than 5, stands there, clutching a stuffed rabbit. He has messy brown hair and curious eyes. You look sad, the boy says. Like the prince in Mama Izzy's story. The one who lost his way. Alexander crouches down, eye level. His throat is tight. What story is that? The boy shrugs. The one where the prince thought gold was everything. But then he met a lady who showed him home isn't a castle. It's where you're loved. He pats Alexander's knee. Mama Izzy says everyone gets lost sometimes. Even princes. But it's never too late to find your way back. Especially if you say sorry real good. Alexander stares at the boy. At his innocent, trusting eyes. At the rabbit's worn ear. He doesn't know what to say. The boy smiles. Wanna see my drawing? I drew Mama Izzy as a superhero. 'Cause she is. He takes Alexander's hand. Small, warm, trusting. And leads him to the wall. There, among dozens of childish masterpieces, is a crayon drawing. A woman with wild hair and a paintbrush cape, holding the hands of 2 stick-figure twins. Above her head, in wobbly letters, Izizawai, best mama, saves kids. And princes too, if they're sorry. Alexander's vision blurs. He doesn't cry, not yet, but you feel the dam cracking, the ice melting, the ghost of the man who once loved her stirring in the ruins of the tycoon he became. He lets the boy lead him back to the desk, doesn't let go of his hand. Thank you, he says, voice thick, for showing me. The boy grins. You're welcome, sad prince. Hope you find your castle. Alexander stands, walks out into the sunlight, doesn't look back. But you know, he's not leaving Seabrook. Not yet. He's just beginning to understand what he threw away. And he'll do anything, to prove he's worthy of even a glimpse of the world she built without him. He raises his hand, hesitates. You feel the tremor in his knuckles, the dryness in his throat, the way his heart hammers, not with arrogance now, but with something raw, terrifying. Hope, fear, regret, all of it, tangled like storm-tossed rope. He knocks, softly, then again, louder. A light flicks on inside. You feel her before you see her. The shift in the air, the sudden stillness behind the door. She knows who it is. Of course she does. She's been waiting, not for him to come, but for this reckoning, this collision. The door opens. Izzy stands there, barefoot, wrapped in an old cardigan, her hair loose and tangled from sleep. Her eyes, those deep, knowing eyes, lock onto his. No surprise, no fear, just weary recognition. You don't belong here, Alexander. Her voice is quiet, flat, like she's stating a fact, not throwing a barb. He swallows, doesn't step back, doesn't look away. I need to talk to you. There's nothing to say. There is. His voice cracks, just slightly, about the twins, about everything. She exhales, slow, controlled, steps back, doesn't invite him in, just leaves the door open. A silent, reluctant permission. He steps inside. The apartment is small, warm, lived in, books stacked on the floor, paintbrushes drying in jars, a child's drawing taped to the fridge, Leo's dragon with laser eyes. The scent of chamomile tea lingers in the air. It's nothing like the penthouse, nothing like cold marble and curated art. This place breathes. It lives. He feels like an intruder in a cathedral. She doesn't offer him a seat, doesn't sit herself, just leans against the kitchen counter, arms crossed, guarded, waiting. He turns to her. His eyes are bloodshot. His suit is rumpled. He looks broken. How? He asks again. The same word. But now it's not accusation. It's awe, desperation. How did you do this? After everything I did? After I threw you away? She doesn't flinch, doesn't look away. I didn't do it despite you, Alexander. I did it because you set me free. He stares. Free? I abandoned you. I called you defective. I erased you. And in doing that, she says, voice low, steady, cutting, you gave me the greatest gift you ever could, the truth, that I was never yours to define, that my worth wasn't in my womb. It was in my hands, my heart, my choices. He takes a step toward her. I was wrong. Good. She doesn't soften. Now go. Izzy, please. No, she pushes off the counter, steps into his space, not to touch him, to confront him. You don't get to stand here, in my home, smelling of your expensive cologne and your guilt, and ask me how I healed while you were busy pretending I never existed. You don't get to look at my children, whom I fought for, bled for, chose, and act like their existence is some miracle you need to dissect. He flinches, hard. I'm not dissecting. Yes, you are. Her voice rises, sharp as shattered glass. You hired a detective, Alexander. Victor called the orphanage yesterday, asked about adoption records, about me. You think I wouldn't find out? You think in this town, secrets stay buried? He pales. I just needed to understand. Understand what? She laughs. A bitter, broken sound. That I didn't cheat? That I didn't lie? That I didn't use some secret science to betray you? That I just loved two children no one else wanted? Is that so impossible for you to believe? That love doesn't need biology? That motherhood isn't about blood? It's about showing up, day after day, night after night, even when you're tired, even when you're broke, even when the world tells you you're not enough. He opens his mouth, closes it. His hands clench at his sides. I didn't know you could be this. This what? She spits. Happy? Whole? A mother? Or just not yours anymore? He looks down at his shoes, at the worn rug beneath them. All of it. Silence. Thick, heavy, suffocating. You feel it, the weight of 5 years, of betrayal, of healing, of two lives that collided and shattered and rebuilt themselves in opposite directions. She walks to the window, stares out at the moonlit pier. Her voice, when it comes, is softer. Raw. Do you know what Leo asked me yesterday? Alexander doesn't move, doesn't breathe. No. He looked up at me while we were painting and said, Mama, was I in your tummy? Her voice catches, just slightly. And I told him, no, sweetheart, you were in my heart. And that's where you grew. And he smiled and hugged me and said, that's better. Hearts don't break. Alexander's breath hitches. She turns back to him. Tears glisten in her eyes, not falling. Not yet, but there. You broke me, Alexander. You broke the woman who believed in fairy tales and diamond rings and forever. But you didn't break the mother. That woman? She was born the day I held Leo and Lila for the first time. And she doesn't break. She builds. He takes a step forward. His voice is a ragged whisper. I want to know them. She freezes. You don't get to want anything, she says, ice creeping back into her tone. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I'm not asking to be their father. I'm asking to be near them, to see them, to learn from them. Learn what? She snaps. How to love without conditions. How to be present. How to put someone else's joy before your empire. Too late for lessons, Alexander. You had your chance. You signed the papers. You walked away. I was a coward. The words explode from him, raw, ragged, desperate. I was raised to see weakness as failure, love as liability. You made me feel things I didn't know how to handle. And when the doctor said you couldn't give me an heir, I used it as an excuse to run. Because needing you, loving you, it terrified me more than losing the company ever could. She stares at him, really stares. For the first time, you see it, the flicker. Not forgiveness, not yet, but recognition. The ghost of the man she once loved, buried beneath years of armor, clawing his way to the surface. He drops to his knees, right there, on her worn rug, in front of her, head bowed. I don't deserve you. I don't deserve them. But I'm begging you, let me try. Let me be something, anything. A stranger who brings them ice cream, a volunteer at the Haven, a man who sits in the back of the art class and watches them paint. Just let me be near them. Let me learn how to be human again. She doesn't move, doesn't speak, just watches him. This king of luxury, this tycoon, this ghost of her past, kneeling on her floor, broken and begging. You feel her heart cracking, not for him, for the children, for the boy who asked if he was in her tummy, for the girl who drew her as a superhero, for the future they deserve, one not shadowed by the man who discarded their mother. She walks to the door, opens it. The night air rushes in. Get up, Alexander. He doesn't move. She steps closer, looks down at him. Her voice is quiet, final. You don't get redemption on your knees. You get it on your feet, showing up, day after day, without expectation, without demands, proving, not with words, but with actions, that you've changed. He looks up, eyes wet, hopeless. How long? She smiles, not a kind smile, a warrior's smile. As long as it takes, maybe forever, maybe never. But if you're serious, start tomorrow. 3 p.m. Community Center, art class, bring washable paint, and don't look me. She steps back, leaves the door open. He stands, slowly, shaking, doesn't look at her, walks to the door, stops, doesn't turn around. Thank you, he whispers. For what? She asks, voice cold. For not slamming the door in my face. He walks out. She closes the door behind him, leans against it, and finally, lets the tears fall. You feel them, hot, silent, cathartic. Not for him, for herself, for the woman who survived, for the mother who rose, for the future still unwritten. Outside, Alexander stands on the porch. The night air is cool. The stars are bright. He looks up, doesn't wipe his face. He pulls out his phone, texts Victor, cancel my return flight, indefinitely, and buy every brand of washable paint you can find. He looks back at her window. The light is still on. He doesn't leave. He sits on the top step and waits, not for her. And you feel every ounce of it. The dryness in his throat, the tremor in his fingers, the way his heart hammers against his ribs like a trapped bird. He scans the room, sees Izzy kneeling beside a low table, helping a little girl glue googly eyes onto a paper plate lion. She doesn't look up, doesn't acknowledge him, just keeps working, calm, focused, unreachable. He takes a step forward, then another. The children don't notice him, not at first. They're too busy smearing paint, arguing over glitter, shrieking with delight as their creations come to life. He sets the paint tubs down near the supply table, doesn't speak, doesn't sit, just stands, watching, waiting, like a man standing on the edge of a cliff, unsure if he'll fly or fall. Then a small voice, Mister. He looks down. Leo stands there, barefoot, paint smeared across his cheek, holding a half-finished spaceship made of cardboard and pipe cleaners. His eyes, wide, curious, unguarded, lock onto Alexander's. You're the sad prince, Leo declares. Alexander's breath catches. He crouches down, slowly, carefully, like approaching a wild animal. I guess I am. Leo tilts his head. Did you find your castle? Alexander swallows, glances toward Izzy. She's still focused on the little girl, but her shoulders are tense. Listening. Not yet. Leo nods sagely. Mama says castles are dumb. Homes are better, 'cause homes have hugs. Alexander's throat tightens. She's a very smart. Yep. Leo holds up his spaceship. Wanna help me make the engines? They need to go home. Alexander stares at the cardboard, at the glue stains, at the child's trusting eyes. He doesn't know how to do this. He doesn't know how to be gentle, how to be patient, how to be present. But he nods. Okay, show me how. Leo grins, grabs his hand, small, sticky, warm, and tugs him toward the table. Come on, Lila's over there. She's making a robot queen. She'll boss you around. She's good at it. Alexander lets himself be led. Sits on a tiny plastic chair that groans under his weight. Leo plops down beside him, shoves a glue stick into his hand. First, you gotta put glue here, Leo instructs, pointing. Then here. Then, wait, you gotta blow on it. Like magic. Alexander blinks. Blow on it? Yeah, so it dries faster. Mama says glue is lazy. Needs encouragement. Alexander stares at the glue stick. Then, slowly, deliberately, he blows on the cardboard. Leo claps. Yes, you did it. Now the sparkles. He dumps a handful of silver glitter onto the table. Half of it goes everywhere, the floor, Alexander's sweater, Leo's hair. Alexander doesn't flinch, doesn't scold, just watches. A small, disbelieving smile tugs at his lips. You feel it, the first crack in the ice. The first genuine moment of connection. Not forced, not calculated, just real. Mr. Prince. Alexander looks up. Lila stands there, arms crossed, tiny paintbrush tucked behind her ear like a pencil. She eyes him with the solemn intensity of a general inspecting a new recruit. Yes, he says, voice softer than he's ever heard it. You're doing it wrong. He freezes. I am. Yep. She points to his spaceship. The engines go backwards, so the fire pushes the ship forwards. Like, Alexander stares at her freckled nose, at her serious eyes, at the way she radiates absolute, unshakable confidence. He feels something shift inside him, something ancient, something tender. He picks up the cardboard, turns it around. Like this. Lila nods, satisfied. Better. Now, the sparkles go only on the fire part, not the whole ship. That's wasteful. Yes, ma'am. She beams. Good. You're learning. She pats his shoulder. Mama says everyone can learn if they listen. She skips off, to boss around another child. Alexander sits there, glue on his fingers, glitter on his sleeve. Leo chattering happily beside him about laser cannons and alien planets. He looks up. Izzy is watching, not with anger, not with coldness, but with curiosity, and something else, something fragile. Hope? She doesn't smile, doesn't nod, just holds his gaze for one long, suspended second, then turns back to the little girl. But you feel it. The wall isn't gone, but a door just cracked open. An hour later, the room is a glorious disaster. Paint-splattered smocks, glitter embedded in every surface. Children running wild, proudly displaying their masterpieces. Alexander is still at the table, now helping Leo glue googly eyes onto a space dragon, Leo's latest invention. His sweater is ruined. His hands are sticky. He hasn't checked his phone once. Lila marches back over. Okay, Prince. Time for cleanup. You're on sponge duty. Alexander blinks. Sponge duty? Yep. Wipe the tables. No whining. She thrusts a damp sponge into his hand. Mama says princes need to learn chores too, 'cause castles get dirty. He takes the sponge, stands, starts wiping, methodically, carefully, like it's the most important task he's ever been given. Leo tugs his pant leg. Can you come back tomorrow? We're making clay monsters. Alexander looks down, at Leo's hopeful face, at Lila's expectant stare, at Izzy, now gathering paintings into folders, pretending not to listen. His voice is quiet, steady. I'll be here. Leo whoops. Yes, best prince ever. Lila nods, satisfied. Good. We'll make you a crown out of clay. Might be lumpy, but it'll be yours. Alexander smiles. A real one. Small, trembling, but real. You feel it, the first time in years his smile isn't a weapon, isn't a mask, isn't a calculation. It's a gift. As the children file out, chattering and sticky-fingered, Alexander lingers, wiping the last table, folding smocks, picking up stray glitter. Izzy doesn't speak to him, doesn't look at him, just works, efficient, distant. He finishes, stands by the door, hesitates, then quietly, "Thank you for letting me stay." She doesn't turn around. "I didn't let you, they did." He nods. "Still, thank you." He walks to the door, stops, doesn't look back. "I'll be here tomorrow, 3 p.m. sharp." He leaves. Izzy finally turns, stares at the door, at the glitter still sparkling on the floor, at the half-finished clay monster Leo left behind. A lopsided, three-eyed thing with a lopsided smile. She walks over, picks it up, traces its crooked horns with her thumb. You feel the ache in her chest, the old wound still tender, but beneath it, something new, something warm, something terrifying. He showed up. He stayed. He let them boss him around. He smiled. She sets the clay monster on the shelf, next to Leo's drawing of the laser-eyed dragon. She doesn't know what this means. She doesn't know if he'll last. She doesn't know if she can ever trust him. But she knows this, her children liked him. And that changes everything. Outside, Alexander leans against the brick wall of the community center. The sun is setting, painting the sky in streaks of orange and pink. He pulls out his phone, doesn't check emails, doesn't call his assistant. He opens his camera, takes a picture of his glitter-stained sleeve, sends it to himself. With one word, beginning. He looks back at the building, at the window where Izzy is turning off the lights. He doesn't smile, but you feel it, the quiet, gathering storm inside him. The Tycoon is gone. The prince is lost. This, the warmth of the radiator humming beside him, the scent of cinnamon and wet wool, the sound of Lila's bossy instructions. "No, Prince." The blanket goes over the chair. "Not under. Are you even trying?" And Leo's giggles as he accidentally knocks over a tower of blocks. The terrifying, tender normalcy of it all. Izzy watches from the kitchen doorway, mug cradled in her hands, expression unreadable. She hasn't told him to leave, hasn't smiled, hasn't spoken to him directly since he arrived. But she hasn't shut the door in his face either. And that's something. Lightning flashes, thunder cracks, loud and sudden. Lila shrieks, not in fear, but delight. "Oh, the sky's mad. Quick, Leo, into the fort. It's monster-proof." Leo scrambles under the blanket canopy, pulling Alexander with him. "Come on, sad prince. Safety first." Alexander ducks, the low ceiling of the fort brushing his hair. He's crammed between two small, warm bodies, the scent of their shampoo, strawberry and bubblegum, filling his nose. Lila snuggles against his side, surprisingly trusting. Leo leans against his other arm, pointing at the ceiling. "See? Told ya it was safe. Monsters hate forts. Mama says so." Alexander looks down at them, at their bright, unguarded eyes, at the absolute, unquestioning way they've claimed him. Not as a father, not yet, but as theirs. The sad prince, the glitter guy, the fort builder. He feels something crack open inside him. Something deep, something long buried. Another flash of lightning, another boom. Lila tenses, just slightly. Her small hand tightens on his sweater. Alexander doesn't think. He wraps an arm around her shoulders, pulling her closer. His other hand finds Leo's, giving it a gentle squeeze. "It's just the sky talking," he murmurs, his voice rough with an emotion he can't name. Big, loud words. "But it can't hurt you in here. This fort, it's magic." Lila looks up at him, eyes wide. "Magic? The strongest kind," he whispers. "Made by you, and Leo, and me." The word feels foreign, precious. "No storm gets past us." She smiles. A small, sleepy thing. Nods. Snuggles deeper. Leo yawns, his head heavy on Alexander's arm. "You're good at forts, Prince. Better than Uncle Elias. He always forgets the roof." Alexander's throat tightens. Uncle Elias, the grizzled shop owner, the man who fixed broken chairs while Izzy sanded them smooth. The man who was there while he was nowhere. He looks up. Izzy is still in the doorway, but she's not watching the storm. She's watching him, watching the way he holds her children, the way he whispers reassurances, the way his large, usually so controlled hands cradle them with impossible gentleness. Their eyes meet, and in that suspended moment, the storm outside fades. The fort, the children, the rain, it all blurs. You feel it, the electric current that arcs between them. Not attraction, not yet. Something deeper, heavier, recognition. He sees her, really sees her. Not the broken wife he discarded, not the infertile woman he deemed unworthy, but Izzy, the woman who rebuilt herself from ashes, who chose love over bitterness, who mothered with her whole heart, even when the world told her she couldn't, who is watching him now with eyes that hold 5 years of pain and a flicker of something else, something fragile, something terrifying. Hope. He opens his mouth. To say what? I'm sorry? I was a fool? I see you now? He doesn't get the chance. Lila stirs against his chest, looks up at him, her voice small, drowsy, utterly devastating. Prince. Were you sad before you met us? The question hangs in the air, thick as the storm outside. Alexander freezes. His arm tightens around her, almost imperceptibly. He glances at Izzy. Her expression is unreadable, but her knuckles are white where she grips her mug. He looks back down at Lila, at her earnest, sleepy eyes. He doesn't lie, can't lie, not to her. Yes, he whispers. Very sad. Why? He swallows. The truth tastes like ash and salt. Because I thought love made me weak. I thought needing someone made me less. So I pushed away the person who loved me most. His gaze flickers to Izzy. Holds. I was a very stupid. Lila nods, as if this makes perfect sense. Mama says stupid is fixable, especially with hugs. Alexander's breath hitches. Does she? Yep. Lila yawns again, her eyes drifting shut. You should ask her for one. Hugs fix sad Prince's best. She snuggles deeper, her breathing evening out into sleep. Leo is already out, mouth slightly open, one hand still clutching Alexander's sleeve. Alexander sits there, trapped in the fort, trapped by the weight of Lila's innocent wisdom, trapped by the gaze of the woman he broke. He doesn't move, doesn't dare. Minutes pass. The storm rages. The children sleep. Finally, Izzy moves. She sets her mug down, walks silently into the room, kneels beside the fort, gently lifts Leo, cradling him against her chest. He doesn't wake. She turns to Lila. Alexander carefully shifts, letting Izzy gather Lila into her arms. Their fingers brush, just for a second. A spark. A brand. Thank you, Izzy murmurs, her voice low, meant only for him, for the fort, for the storm. He nods, unable to speak. She stands, holding her sleeping children, pauses at the doorway to the bedrooms, doesn't look back. You can let yourself out. He watches her go, watches her disappear into the dim hallway, her children safe in her arms. He stays in the fort, long after the storm has passed, long after the rain has softened to a whisper. He sits amidst the scattered crayons and the blanket roof, Lila's words echoing in the silence. You should ask her for one. Hugs fix sad Prince's best. He closes his eyes, and for the first time in 20 years, Alexander Sterling lets himself cry. Not silent, controlled tears. Not the kind he sheds in boardrooms after crushing a rival. These are messy, ugly, wrenching sobs that tear from his chest, shaking his whole body. He doesn't try to stop them, doesn't care if Izzy hears. Let her hear. Let her know. He was wrong. He was cruel. He was a coward. And he is so sorry. He cries for the years lost, for the love discarded, for the children he didn't know he wanted until he saw them holding her hands. He cries for the boy he was, the boy who cried when his dog died, The boy his mother called weak. The boy who learned to bury his heart to survive. He cries for the man he became, cold, calculating, empty. He cries for the man he might still become, if she lets him, if they let him. He doesn't know how long he sits there. When he finally opens his eyes, the room is dark. The only light comes from the street lamp outside, casting long shadows. He stands, stiff, exhausted, hollowed out. He walks to the door, doesn't turn on the light, doesn't look back. He lets himself out. The rain has stopped. The air is cool, clean, washed new. He stands on the porch, looks up at the stars, now visible through the parting clouds. He pulls out his phone, doesn't call his lawyer, doesn't check stock prices. He opens his notes app, types one sentence, then another, and another. I was taught that love was a liability, that needing someone made you weak, that vulnerability was a crack in the armor, waiting to be exploited. I used Isabella's infertility as an excuse, a convenient clinical reason to run from the terrifying truth. I loved her more than I loved control, more than I loved the sterling name, more than I loved myself. I abandoned her because I was afraid of the depth of my own need, afraid of the power she held, not over my empire, but over my soul. The twins, they don't care about my empire. They don't care about my name. They care that I build forts, that I blow on glue, that I hold them during thunderstorms. They see me, not the tycoon, not the ghost, just me, and they haven't flinched. Isabella sees me too, and she's still here, still letting me near them, still watching. I don't deserve it, any of it, but I will spend every day I have left proving I can be worthy of a hug from a sleeping child, of a glance from the woman I broke. The boy who cried is still here. I'm letting him out. He saves the note, doesn't send it, doesn't delete it, just keeps it, like a promise, like a map, like the first true thing he's written in years. He looks back up at her window. The light is off. She's asleep, with her children, safe, whole. He doesn't go back to the inn. He walks down to the pier, sits on the edge, lets the salt air dry the tracks on his cheeks. He doesn't know what tomorrow holds. He doesn't know if she'll ever forgive him. He doesn't know if he'll ever be more than the sad prince to Leo and Lila. But he knows this, he's not running anymore. He doesn't push, doesn't ask for more, doesn't look at Izzy with pleading eyes. He just shows up, and you feel it, the slow seismic shift. Not in grand gestures, but in quiet moments. The way Leo now runs to him the moment he walks in, babbling about his latest invention. It's a robot dog that farts rainbows. Prince, wanna see? The way Lila, after weeks of bossing him around, finally lets him tie her shoe without correcting his technique. The way Izzy, though still distant, no longer tenses when he enters the room. Sometimes, when she thinks he isn't looking, you catch her watching him. Watching the way he patiently helps a shy child mix colors. The way he laughs, a real, unguarded sound now. At Leo's ridiculous jokes, the way he gently wipes paint off Lila's nose with his thumb. He's learning, not just how to be around children, but how to be human. One rainy Thursday, the community center's ancient boiler gives out. The room is freezing. The children huddle in their coats, shivering, their painting abandoned. Alexander doesn't hesitate. He pulls out his phone, makes a call, not to his assistant, to a local hardware store owner he's met twice. Frank? It's Alex. Yeah, the Ford guy. Listen, the center's boiler's dead. Kids are freezing. You got any of those big space heaters? The safe ones? I'll pay double, triple. Just get them here. Now. He hangs up, turns to the room. All right, troops. Operation. Warm front is a go. Leo, you're on blanket duty. Gather every spare one. Lila, you're chief of hot chocolate. Help Ms. Izzy with the kettle. Everyone else, huddle up. We're building the biggest, warmest fort this town's ever seen. Chaos erupts. Joyful, purposeful chaos. Children scramble. Blankets fly. Izzy watches, a small, reluctant smile touching her lips as Alexander directs traffic. His voice firm but kind. his movements efficient but gentle. An hour later, the room is transformed. A massive blanket fort dominates the center, warmed by 3 roaring, but safely positioned, space heaters. Children are bundled inside, sipping hot chocolate, giggling, warm. Leo is guarding the entrance with a cardboard sword. Lila is conducting a choir of off-key singers. Alexander stands just outside the fort, wiping sweat from his brow, his sweater damp from hauling heaters. He looks exhausted and utterly, radiantly alive. Izzy walks over, hands him a mug of hot chocolate, doesn't speak, just holds it out. He takes it. Their fingers brush. Again, that spark, that brand. "Thank you," he says, voice rough. She nods, doesn't look at him. "You didn't have to do all this." "Yes," he says simply. "I did." She finally meets his eyes. Hers are guarded, but softer than they've been in weeks. "Why? Why are you really here, Alexander? Is it guilt? Curiosity? Some redemption project?" He doesn't look away, doesn't flinch. At first, maybe. Guilt, definitely. Curiosity, absolutely. But now, he glances toward the fort, where Leo is dramatically slaying a stuffed bear with his sword. Now, it's because when Leo calls me Prince, it doesn't feel like a title. It feels like belonging. And when Lila trusts me to tie her shoe, that's worth more than any boardroom victory. He looks back at her, his gaze steady, vulnerable. "I'm here because being near them, near you, it's the first time I felt real in 5 years. Not powerful, not in control, just real." She stares at him. You feel the war inside her. The old wounds screaming don't trust him, and the new, fragile hope whispering but look at him. Look what he's becoming. She doesn't answer, just turns and walks back toward the fort. He doesn't follow. He sips his hot chocolate, stands watch, a silent sentinel. The next day, he arrives early. The center is empty. Izzy is setting up tables. She doesn't look surprised to see him. "Frank called," he says, walking over. "The new boiler's being installed tomorrow, free of charge." He said his granddaughter loves your art class, wants to make sure it keeps running. Izzy pauses, looks at him. "You didn't pay him, did you?" "No," Alexander shakes his head. "I just told him about Leo's rainbow farting robot dog, and Lila's robot queen, and how much this place means to them. To you." He shrugs, a small, awkward gesture. He said that was payment enough. She stares at him, really stares. The silence stretches, thick with everything unsaid. Then, quietly, "You fixed the fence." He blinks. "What?" "The fence. Around the haven. The back gate was broken, swung open in the wind. You fixed it. Last week. Mrs. Gable saw you." He looks down, shuffles his feet like a schoolboy. "It was loose, looked dangerous. Took 5 minutes. You didn't tell anyone. Didn't think it was worth mentioning." She steps closer. Her voice is low, intense. "You paid Lila's medical bill, the one from when she fell off the swing. The insurance didn't cover the full X-ray." He freezes. "How did you?" "Victor told me." She watches him, her eyes searching his face. "He said you called the clinic yourself, paid in cash, asked them not to send a statement. Why, Alexander? Why do all this? Quietly? Why not wave it in my face? Look what a good man I am now." He meets her gaze. His is steady, honest. "Because it's not for you. It's not for me. It's for them." He gestures toward the door, where the children will soon arrive. Leo and Lila deserve a safe fence. Lila deserves not to worry about bills. You deserve to not have to carry everything alone. That's it. No agenda, no expectation, just because it's right. She doesn't speak, doesn't move. You feel the tremor in her hands, the war still raging inside her. Then a sound. Leo's voice, loud and clear from the hallway. "Mama, Prince, we're here. I brought my robot dog. He's ready to fart rainbows." The moment shatters. Izzy turns away, quickly wiping her eyes. "Go. They're here." Alexander doesn't move immediately. He watches her for a second longer, sees the way her shoulders shake, just slightly, sees the battle she's fighting, against the past, against her own heart. He walks to the door, opens it. Leo barrels in, a lopsided clay robot clutched in his hands. "Prince, look, I added extra rainbows." Alexander scoops him up, ignoring the clay smearing his sweater. "Impressive engineering, Commander Leo. Where's the launch button?" Lila marches in, backpack bouncing. "Prince, did you bring the new blue paint? The sparkly one?" "Right here, Your Majesty," he says, pulling a tube from his bag. Izzy watches them. The easy way Alexander holds Leo. The way Lila bossily directs him to the correct table. The laughter, the warmth, the family. She walks over, stops beside Alexander as he sets Leo down. Quietly, so only he can hear, she says, "Keep showing up." He looks at her, stunned. She doesn't smile, doesn't soften, but her eyes hold a warning. Yes, but also an invitation. "Keep showing up," she repeats, her voice barely a whisper. "And maybe, just maybe, we'll see." She walks away toward the supply closet. Alexander stands there. Leo tugs his hand. "Come on, Prince. The robot needs fuel." He lets Leo pull him away, but you feel it, the earthquake inside him. The fragile, terrifying bloom of hope. She said, "Maybe." She said, "We'll see." It's not forgiveness. It's not love, but it's a crack in the wall. And for the man who spent 5 years building fortresses of ice, it's you feel the chill the moment Alexander sees it. He's scrolling on his phone during a rare quiet moment at the community center, waiting for Leo and Lila to finish their snack. The photo is blurry, taken from across the street, probably with a zoom lens, but it's unmistakable. Izzy, laughing, holding Lila's hand, Leo skipping ahead, ice cream dripping down his wrist. The caption beneath is worse. Isabella Izzy Moreau, 34, once deemed medically unfit to bear sterling heirs, now flaunts twins. Sources close to the family question the timeline and the paternity. Alexander's blood turns to ice. His thumb hovers over the screen. He doesn't breathe, doesn't blink. The cheerful chatter of the children around him fades into a dull roar. All he hears is the pounding of his own heart. Frantic, furious, terrified. They found her. They found them. He stands abruptly, knocking over his chair. The children look up, startled. "Prince? You okay?" Leo asks, ice cream forgotten. Alexander forces a smile. Feels like broken glass in his mouth. "Fine, Commander. Just remembered something I need to do. Be right back." He walks out. Fast. Too fast. Doesn't look back. You feel the panic clawing up his throat as he strides down the street. Phone pressed to his ear. "Victor, now, I need you to kill a story. Seabrook Sentinel. Online. Now. And find out who took that photo. Who fed them the sources close to the family bullshit." Victor's voice is calm, professional. "On it, sir. But the damage might already be spreading. Small blogs get picked up by bigger aggregators. Then buy them too. Every single one. I don't care what it costs. I want this buried. Today." He hangs up, leans against the brick wall of the bakery, breathing hard. He pulls up the article again, reads the comments. His stomach churns. Bet she cheated. Sterling men don't just let go of their wives. Twins? Convenient. Probably used his money for a secret surrogacy. Gold digger. Or maybe she found a real man who didn't care about her broken womb. He slams his fist against the wall. Pain flares in his knuckles. He doesn't care. They're calling her a liar, a cheat, a gold digger. They're dragging her children into the mud. Because of him. Because he didn't protect her. Because he didn't think. Because he walked into her life again. A walking scandal waiting to happen. And he didn't shield her from the fallout. He pushes off the wall. Starts walking. Not back to the center. Not yet. He needs to think. To act. His phone rings. Victor again. "It's worse, sir. The Chronicle just picked it up. National outlet. Headline: Sterling heirs X defies medical odds? Mystery twins spark speculation. Alexander closes his eyes, swears low and vicious. How? How did they get the medical records? Those were sealed. Someone talked, probably at the original clinic. Money talks, sir. Find out who. Sue them into oblivion. He takes a deep, shuddering breath. And Victor? The children, Leo and Lila, their names, their photos. I want them scrubbed from every server, every cache, every dark corner of the internet. I want them invisible, unfindable. Do you understand? Understood. I'll deploy the full team. Alexander hangs up. He looks up at the sky, gray, threatening rain, like the world itself is mourning what's coming. He walks back to the community center. His steps are heavy, leaden. He opens the door. The room is quiet, too quiet. The children are huddled together, whispering. Izzy stands in the center, her back to him, shoulders rigid. She's holding her phone. Her knuckles are white. He walks in. Izzy, she turns. Her face is pale. Her eyes are blazing. Not with tears, with fury. Pure, incandescent fury. Get out. He stops. Izzy, I said get out. Her voice cracks like a whip. The children flinch. Leo starts to cry. How dare you? How dare you bring this vileness into their lives? He steps forward, hands raised. I didn't. You didn't what? You didn't think? You didn't protect them? You didn't consider that your name, your family, is a fucking wrecking ball? She throws her phone down on the table. The skids screen.